What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Did somebody come on it already?
Somebody just did something, and when I responded to it.
This is life, it's life, it's life, this is life, it's life, this is how you wanna live your life. Tell me how you wanna live your life. Oh, this is life, it's life, it's life, this is life, it's life, this is how you wanna live your life. Tell me how you wanna live your life. Oh, take a deep breath, get rid of that pain. Line up your heart and your brain. This is the start, beginning a change. Taking that chance, we dancing in rain. Feeling so good, we higher than planes. Walking on coals, not feeling the flames. Think of that box, it's something you not. Get rid of that frame, get in a new lane. Look, life is simple and plain. Those negative thoughts, they go down the drain. With energy up, we sentinel beings. You live in divine, you live in your dreams. You feel like you're flying, don't pull on those reins. Keep pushing the limit for infinite ways. Think of the past, keep flipping that page. Live in the past, you live in the shade. And you know you don't wanna live that way. Close those eyes, think of brighter days. Meditate to a higher place. I'll meet you in that quantum space. The truth is there for you to face. Feel that gratitude, no higher praise. Take your time, you're the only one that knows your pace. And when you get there, you'll be feeling that amazing grace. Amazing grace. This is life, it's life, it's life. This is life, it's life. This is how you wanna live your life. Tell me how you wanna live your life. Oh, this is life, it's life, it's life. This is life, it's life. This is how you wanna live your life. Tell me how you wanna live your life. Oh, this is life, as real as it gets, as real as can be. You feeling it yet? The feeling of free. The simplest breath can light up a room, so open your chest. It's one of a kind when you living in bliss. So live in the present, cause life is a gift. There's nothing to measure when living like this. You think you know pleasure? Well, listen to this. Alright, listen up. Take a big sip, line them up, 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 line them up. It's electric, line them up, line them up. It's electric, line them up, line them up. It's electric. Don't you wait, it's electric. Let's just feel that feel. Let's just feel that feel. Keep pushing. We live in what we dream in, against the grain of reason. The energy is real, we manifesting while we healing. Let's just feel that feeling. Let's just feel that feeling. Keep pushing through the ceiling. Keep pushing through the ceiling. We live in what we dream in, against the grain of reason. The energy is real, we manifesting while we healing. This is life, it's life, it's life. This is life, it's life. This is how you wanna live your life. Tell me how you wanna live your life. Oh, This is life, it's life, it's life. This is life, it's like this is how you wanna live your life. Tell me how you wanna live your life. Oh. We don't do this because we have to. We do this because we want to. Because we know we have to. Let's go. Look, we live by the golden rule. We do it for the greater good. We moving like a school of fish, together like a flock of birds, speaking with our frequency. Never need to say a word. You know the vibes. It's time to shift the universe together, one day at a time. Look, one day in meditation, I had to sit down with Divine. He told me the world needs me. I need to wake up. This is big picture stuff, way bigger than mine. So I had to take a step back. I went through a mental relapse. I absorbed God's feedback. This is no time to relax. This is to all of us. The world is calling us out. She needs us now more than ever to be victorious. Share the glory with my dot connected morning warriors. We work together, then we know how this story is. Yes, we are awakened. This is the revelation. Yes, we are awakened. This is the revelation. Revelation, this is divine awakening. 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 Top of the morning, time to meditate the mind. Rise and shine before the sun, that's the grind. We're getting lost up in the quantum, what you find? I found all of us lined up like soldiers side by side. That's the key to life, it's asked quite frequently. Collective energy when you ride the same frequency. Life's simple, but it ain't easy. Ride the symphony from your heart and brain synchronicity. Take that ride with me, let's enjoy this ride. Every second, every minute, every day of our lives, and let it all unfold, cause it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful day, look at that beauty we bring. Yeah, you feel that? That's the time turning. It's a revelation, a divine learning. And yes, we are awakened. This is the revelation. Yes, we are awakened. This is the revelation. Yes, we are awakened. This is the revelation. Revelation, this is divine awakening. 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 Thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain. Thank you for joy, thank you for pain. Thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain. Thank you for joy, thank you for pain. Cause it's a beautiful day.
What?
Now what happens?
The people
What's
are
up,
still.
everybody? 1 second. How do I exit that? All right, what's up, everyone? How you doing?
Great.
Let's go. Good to see everybody. Sorry, I just had to do a couple things. Judith, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Yes. David, the man of the hour, what's going on, my brother?
Not too much. Got Joshua in the background here.
Hey, Joshua.
Hi,
what's
Josh.
up? What's going on? This is going to be a great call. I met all you, your mother, and Josh in Nashville. It was a pleasure. We bonded right away. It was beautiful. And just by chance, we got to sit next to each other a lot too. So
Yeah.
glad it all you were here.
Especially during Thor's first healing.
Yes. Yeah, we'll talk about that for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Kevin, what's going on, brother? How are you?
What's up, man? How's everyone?
Yeah. Let's go.
Go.
Good to see you, brother. Leela, how are you? Cosette, nice cat.
Great way to start the call, Robbie.
Yeah, I know. I got to start. Yeah. Oh, you liked it? You liked the kaleidoscope?
I love it.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm going to do that for like the first 10 minutes of each call, probably like 10 minutes prior, like at like 7:50, I'm going to put them on. I just got things started a couple minutes late, which is early, but later than I usually start. But thank you. Murad, welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you. Kathy, the amazing Kathy. How are we?
I'm good. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Amelia, hello. Good to see you.
Me too. Oh, I was just like listening to the words of that song. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, you can get it on if you want it. It's on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes. The reason I make this music is for what you're showing right now. It's all energy. It's all love. It's what it's all about. You're gonna make me cry.
It was Layla, actually. She was like, everyone dance. So I like started dancing and it was just like,
That's so beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
beautiful. Tracy's on fire. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see you.
You too. 31 people in the group. Oh, now 32.
Mm.
31. Big Pat, how you doing, man? I miss you. How's it going? Looking good. Summer vibes going. Good stuff, man. Good to see you. Julia, how you doing? Gina, how you doing? Simona, hello. Sean, good to see you again, brother. Always got a smile on that face.
Yeah, see you, Robby.
Laura, good to see you. Hopefully, we'll be catching up not hopefully, we'll be catching up tomorrow. Can't wait to talk with you. Laura's going to be a future guest on the Sunday Night Journeys. And by the way, actually, I'll bring it up in a couple of minutes. So we're going to get started around 8:10, 8:15, which is typically how it goes. I like to say hello to everybody. Then we got a couple of things that we're going to announce. And one of the things I just want to mention, I know that there's so many people that have journeys they want to share, and just know the way it happens is just let me know if you want to be on this, and I want to hear everybody wants to hear your stories. So it would be an honor to have whoever wants to be on here. I just posted a link with all of the past Sunday Night Journeys. It's crazy. We have 14 of them already. It's nuts. I couldn't find Arsa's. I got to find Arsa's. And I didn't share Michael's just because we're doing something with the kaleidoscope and his near-death experience. We're trying to create a product out of it. So I'm going to cut it up and share it because the call is amazing. It was actually one of the originals. But yeah, so just as a heads up. So if anybody wants to share their stories, just please know that it's so welcome. Michael Kirkbride, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Good to be here. Excited.
Chuck, what's up, Chuck? I love all the photos.
Robby.
Aaron, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hello, Teresa. Hello, John Mullane.
Yeah. How you doing, Robby?
Good, good. Teresa, it looks beautiful where you are right now, up in nature.
Yeah, I'm just outside of Niagara Falls. I'm on Grand Island. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Nice. Ajit, who was a guest a couple of weeks ago, he actually he was just in Niagara Falls. He traveled to Montreal, Niagara. Now he's in Florida. He's traveling with his family, which is great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he lives in England. Yeah. So, Gina, did I say hi? If I did, hello again.
Hi. You did say hi.
D, hello, D. Good to see you. D, you're on mute. It's all good. Susie, how you doing?
Nice to see you.
You too. What's up, Lala? How's that arm going?
I got a weight in it right now. I'm physical therapying
Nice.
as
Good
we
stuff.
speak.
When is the guitar going to be part of physical therapy?
I've already started playing again.
Nice. All right. Good
I just
stuff.
still can't bend or straighten my arm yet, but we're getting there. We're making little tiny.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. Thor, what's up, my brother?
Hey, Robby. Always good to see you, my friend.
You too, man. You got the Tiger Woods look going right now.
Yeah, winning the Masters, baby. That's what I'm doing right there. The golf club sounds good enough to me. I don't need to win anything. Just swinging the golf club sounds good.
Thor Woods. There we go.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That sunset was magic, Thor. So beautiful.
Bev, how are you, Bev? Eric, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Hey, sorry, multitasking.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Good to see you,
Excited for the
Bev.
call.
So happy you're here. Bev is another former guest on the Sunday Night Journeys. Tariq, my man, how are you?
What's good, Chief? How you been?
Great, man. It's so good to hear your voice.
Yeah, likewise, fam.
Yeah, we're gonna be making some music as well together on the 31 project that I'm making. I'm really excited. There's a bunch of people in this room that's gonna be a part of that too. It's all about community. We're making all this together. It's gonna be beautiful. And on a note, and as far as a guest, I've been seeing a lot of inspirational stuff that you've been posting, and I would love to have you as a guest if you're up for it. Just want to throw that out there.
100%, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool, you got it.
I was listening to your music like earlier, and I'm like, man, like I'm like gears are just like turning in my head right now. I'm like, oh man, I just want to go off.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Oh man, good to see you. Hello, Margaret Bean, Christina C, Angela Orr. Do you see my sweatshirt? Represent. Thank you. Angela got me this sweatshirt when we did Summer of Love in Maine. And the house I'm in is chilly, so I'm wearing this.
Robby, check me out.
Where we at? Hold on. I gotta see the page. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. Super cool. You know the vibes.
Right.
All right. Yeah, Angela, thank you for that. Such a sweetheart. Angela's head's always spinning.
Recording in progress.
Oops. Did I just do that? I didn't. It's been recorded. Okay. Let's see. Phil. Hello, Phil. Sunny, how are you? Cindy.
Hi, Robby. How are you?
Good, Sunny. Good to see you. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get started in about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna go off of some stuff that we have in here. Just some stuff to go over. Last week's call with Leland was nothing short of amazing. His story, I just love how he opened up his story with such vulnerability. Something that came out of left field. I wasn't going to expect. I didn't expect, and he's been through a lot, and how he opened it was really heartfelt. And that call was just amazing, and the vibes are still going from it. The waves of it, we were getting in touch. We're getting in tune with his. He has like a group that does breath work, and we're just, it's great. He has an event coming up in October. I am going to be performing with Lala. We're creating an album just for this. We're creating like a 5-song set. We already have 1 song together. It's already magical, you guys. I promise you're going to love it. It's all from the heart. Yeah, it's beautiful music. So yeah, that's going on. And just last week's call was just amazing. And we're rolling right into another great conversation with David. So I'm really, really excited about it. So just for anybody who's new, hello, welcome. We do this every Sunday, and you're more than welcome. Anybody you think would benefit from hearing these conversations is so welcome to join. We do this every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And these stories are changing people's lives. We've been doing this since like January, maybe, or like March. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I know the meditation started in January, but just this all started with my friend Arsa, who a lot of people know. She's an artist, and I was like, you got to show your art. And it just turned into this Sunday night theme. And now it's these Sunday night journeys where people share their testimonials and their life-changing experiences. And that's what we're doing tonight with David. Someone that always pops in my head is Brienne. The power that she brought on that call, everybody's, but like, she just brought this big intent of I don't give a fuck, like, of what my body's going through, and we're going to get through this. And her energy is just so inspiring, and we've been riding that wave ever since her call. So let's all put Brienne in our hearts as well. If anybody doesn't know, her stepfather just committed suicide, and she, not only that, is she has cancer in her body in 2 or 3 different places. And I know that I was talking to her. We're going to be doing some fundraising for her. We're just going to be putting that together, and I'll let you guys learn a little bit more about that. But I know we got a family that can support her, so I'll share more about that in the future. But let's all keep her in our hearts, and feel free to reach out to her if you have her contact info, if you're in our groups. So we meet every Monday, Wednesday, Friday to meditate at 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time. If you have any interest in that, please just reach out to me. I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Kathy, what's going on? Sorry.
I have a suggestion. If we have 15 minutes left in time at the end of our session, maybe we could all do Go Love and send it to
I love that idea, Kathy. I was going to suggest that in the chat. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yes,
Really
there you
could
go.
use
We
it.
always have 15 minutes.
Okay.
Great idea. So I'm actually going to email myself that right now, or I'll do that after I talk. So thank you for that.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
good idea. And whoever echoed that, I couldn't see. Okay, so every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time, we meditate. This is how this all started. It's the conversations that get created with these meditations of us bonding together and just sharing our vulnerability and what we go through, our mystical experiences, our medical experiences, whatever it is. Just if you want to be a part of that, I just put my email in the chat. Just email me and or text me if you have my number. And then every Wednesday, Murad, who's in this group, as well as Christy does breath work at 11 a.m. Murad is going to be doing his own. He's going to bring his wisdom of everything that he knows about what he does within the meditation circuit. Murad, you want to talk about it for about 10 seconds? Because Murad's going to be a guest. No, it's okay. So Murad's going to be a guest on Sunday Night Journeys, and he's going to be I'll talk a little bit more about it in the future, but we're going to set up. We're going to be setting up the Sunday Night Journeys for our Wednesday night call with Murad. So it's going to be really exciting.
Okay, I'll share something. This whole group is focused on manifestation. And that's good because you go from a limited self to a bigger limited self and a better limited self, but you're still a limited self. So the stuff that I like to share about is going into awareness. Because see, what Joe's teaching us is a new technology in consciousness. And he'll take us there. But, you have to start where people are. And when people are, they're hurting, they want more. And so that's where Joe starts. But you don't take anything with you, right? So my whole journey has been on slipping into awareness and going deeper and deeper into awareness and then bringing that out. So it's fine to have this outward stroke, but sometimes we miss the inward stroke. And we could talk. It's not the right place to talk about this. But what we do is after the meditation, we just chat about stuff. And this is stuff we chat about. But it goes far beyond manifestation. And it makes no difference if you manifest anything or nothing. What difference does it make? So we kind of go a little bit in that direction, for better, for worse. So anyway, that's that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, Murad dedicates his time for us just because he wants to. And it's so beautiful. Thank you, my brother. You are the man. I love listening to you talk. So you will be a guest on one of the calls this month, or the beginning of August. We're going to figure that out this week. Just got back from vacation, so we'll touch base tomorrow about that. All right. So lastly, so what we do now, every time we meditate, Kathy does a quote at 5 a.m. and Thor does a quote at 11 a.m. So we wanted to bring that to the Sunday Night Journeys. What they're going to be. So Kathy, ladies first, will be giving a quote, and then Thor, and then we'll be posting the quotes in the Sunday Night Journey feed as well. And then we're going to get going to David, the man of the hour, or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be.
And still after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky.
Beautiful. You know how to pick them and you don't run out. I love it.
I love it too.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
All right, Thor, let's hammer it home. Oh, you're muted.
I have to apologize. I didn't come prepared tonight. I was talking on the phone before the meeting and I didn't get there.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. That's
So
all.
I will just double down on Kathy's quote. How about that?
Let's do it. Okay. How about this? We don't do this because we have to. We do this because we want to, because we know we have to. There's a quote.
Or my favorite quote of all time is, when you take the emotional charge out of a memory, it becomes wisdom. I'll put that quote out there. That's my favorite of all time.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you, Thor. Okay, so as you guys know, David's going to be the guest. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch his testimonial. It's pretty amazing. I just love I love what you said. It's exactly what you need when you need it. But the biggest thing is to understand and know that. And the fact that you know it and what you went through, you had mystical experiences for your medical issues your body was having, and where it brought you, and just your clear understanding of why you were there and how you got sick, and just how you explained it was so poetic and beautiful. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to hearing that. I can't wait to hear about the body electric meditation a little bit more on your experience. But I met David in Nashville. I believe we met at the counter, right? And then later, yeah. So we met. I was a volunteer. I was giving the name tags out. I met David, his amazing mother, and also his son. And it just made me so happy to see him bringing his son. And his son did not look like he didn't want to be there, which was so cool. Like, just to see that. And later on, understanding the journey that he was on, and his son learning from his father, and wanting to be there was just so beautiful. David's son also, he saw experience that me and Thor had during the first co-heal experience, and it was quite shocking. You would think it's like some voodoo stuff, like what was going on. Me and Thor were shaking, and I don't know what was going on. We were connected, and David's son experienced it, and he didn't wig out. He didn't get freaked out by it. I think I remember even talking to him a little bit, but you guys brought me some chocolate, and it was beautiful. Yeah. So, so thank you again. Thank you for being on the call. Without further ado, David Johnson. By the way, you have a great name.
It's pretty, it's the, David at one point in time was the fifth most common first name, and Johnson was like the third most common last name. That was 30 years ago in the United States.
Davey Johnson on the Mets, the manager. That's what always reminds me.
Yeah. I have a little trouble with pizza deliveries every now and then, because there's two other David Johnsons in my town. So
beautiful.
A couple things to start first. Robby, thank you so much for this whole thing that you've put together, and all the beautiful things that have come from it. Kathy, I love your quotes every day. I save them and copy and paste them. So if you ever need them again, I've got them down. And I'll emphasize that Murad's Wednesday mornings are special moments. So he does an amazing job, and it's just beautiful. So thank you for all that. So to start out, I actually start a little before the way I started out in my testimonial, because I'm going to talk a little bit about how I kind of got to where I got to. So, I'm a very social person. I love to connect with people. I love to, be around people. And when the pandemic hit, that threw me for a loop. I couldn't be around, couldn't be with friends, couldn't be with my workplace. And just, the timing, I actually got a promotion the day that that they closed down our office. And, so you think of a promotion as a good thing, but I had all these new people I was supposed to meet, and none of them knew who I was. And, I'm supposed to, start to connect with all of them during this period of time. And I struggled, and I had a really hard time during COVID, and it changed me in a way that was not good. I was unhappy. I was thinking about, how much longer do I have to do this? How do I get out of this? And I think about it, Dr. Joe, he always, one line that I latched onto when I was in the hospital was, you have 60,000 thoughts in a day. 90% of them are the same ones you had the day before, and half of them aren't true. And I was living in that. I thought that nobody liked me. I just felt unloved. I felt afraid of, things and angry. And that's where I was. And I know that contributed to the way I felt. I mean, I wasn't behaving, very healthy. I wasn't, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually, or anything. And so, I was actually right before I found, started getting sick. I was actually training. I used to do these endurance events. I still do them. Actually, it's part of the story later. But and I was training, and I was not, progressing as I normally had when I began training for these events, and I just didn't feel right at all. And I remember one morning I went for a run, and my chest just, felt like it was on fire. And I went to bed, went home, and went to work, and went to from my home office, and went to went to bed that night. And I woke up and I had this horrible fever, and my chest was on fire, my in the sweats. And so I went to the doctor, and they, urgent care center, one of my friends owned it actually, and they thought I had COVID. So I got tested for COVID for about a week, every couple of days, because it wasn't going away and it wasn't getting any better. And they just kept thinking I'd test for COVID. And I remember going one day, it was a Friday, and there was none of my friends were there that worked there. And there was another doctor there, and she was no messing around. She wasn't very friendly. She didn't have a great bedside manner, but she knew something was more wrong than it wasn't COVID. So she ordered all these tests, and I got a call Sunday, either late Sunday morning or early Sunday afternoon at my home. And it was the head physician at the testing company. And they said, "You need to go to the hospital now." And I said, "It's Sunday afternoon. Can I just go in tomorrow?" And she's like, "No, you need to go right now." And so, all the things you expect to kick in there, fear, concern, everything. But I was, in my mind, I was like, this can't, how can this be happening to me? So I got to the hospital, and I was there for several days, and they did every test that they do. And finally they did a bone marrow test, and they confirmed that I had acute myeloid leukemia. So there's lots of different types of leukemia. Acute is the one that is very rapidly progressing, and that's what I had. And my father had leukemia, and he got it around when he was about just under 40 years old. And he actually didn't pass away from leukemia. He died from the treatment of the leukemia, because he actually got hepatitis C from a blood transfusion, because this was back in the early 80s, before AIDS and before anybody knew what to do about it. And so, all of those things, all of those emotions flooded in my body. And, I was in total fear and everything. And I remember I spoke to my wife on the phone, and, she is my rock in so many ways. And she said to me, she said, "David, your body is flipping out. You created something, and your body is flipping out. You created this. And if you created it, you can fix it. And so, take this time and try to fix this." And she said, "One of the things that you should do is, there's a really good movie out. It's Heal. You should watch Heal." And so the first thing I did after we got off the phone, I put it on. And there were a lot of people. I can't tell you anybody else in that movie other than Kelly, who directed and produced the movie, and Dr. Joe, several other people in there, but I didn't hear any of the other ones. And I latched on to what Dr. Joe said very, very beginning of that, or very first, one of the first things he said, where, he says it all the time, we've all heard it, the thought sends the signal out, and the emotion brings it back in, and that having that emotion of gratitude for what you want. And every word that he spoke, I just knew that was what I was going to do. Like, that's how I didn't know Dr. Joe had a website. I didn't know that he had YouTube videos. I didn't know that he did meditations. I didn't know anything really about it. And this is kind of ironic. So the very next morning, my friend Todd, who is on the call, Todd and his wife Janine are on the call, shows up at the hospital with a bunch of Sudoku books and some crosswords and Becoming Supernatural. And in the very first page, when I opened it up, it was a beautiful little love letter from his wife Janine sitting there right next to him about their journey together and pursuing this path together. And the ironic part about it is Janine and my wife were actually in a book club, and they were doing Breaking the Habit of Being Yourselves, although this was much more of I think a wine sipping book club than it was a reading book club. But they were doing it. So Dr. Joe was all around me. I just didn't know it and I didn't see it. But I got the book, and her letter and everything, it just spoke to me, right through the heart. This is what you're going to do. This is what's going to work for you. So, I read that book probably 36 hours and started, understanding that Dr. Joe had a website, and went on the website and got some of the meditations, and then realized that, I needed to change myself. I really needed to change who I was. I could tell, that I gave myself this. I caused this, whatever way, no guilt, but I did. And, when I was, so I got Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I'll go into all that in just a second. But when I was there, and we were kind of thinking about what I would do, what I would do for treatment. And, I've always been somebody who believes in a holistic approach and everything else. But, I spoke to a couple alternative doctors, and, I knew that what I had, I needed to do this chemo, and I needed to do this work together to change myself. I needed to do them both. Like, it was so clear to me that I had to be there. And I knew that I was going to be there for about 40 days. And I literally, it felt like a resort. Like, it was an opportunity for me to change, to really change. It was funny because, how Breaking the Habit has, like, it has, you do the meditations every week and then you go to the next one. I was actually worried. I didn't have 28 days left in the hospital. I didn't think. So I started to cheat. I did the first week in 5 days, and I did the second week. I wanted to make sure I got it all in, because this was my, I think I even felt, I don't know what that's called, where you're like a prisoner and you love your captors. Like, I almost felt like I didn't want to leave the hospital because it was my cocoon. And it was really interesting for my mother, who was, worried sick about me, called me every day, and all my friends would call me and they're like, Dave, you must be going crazy in there. And I'm like, no, I'm like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I have to do. And I literally, as I was reading Breaking the Habit, and I started my chemo, I talk about this in the testimony, I literally welcomed that everything that I took into my body. And I thought about, and I even wore white t-shirts every day that I was in the hospital to, like, get the mindset that I was cleaning my entire body out. I was getting rid of everything. And I thought, and I talked to the chemotherapy about not hurting anything else in my body, and that, this was what I needed to do. And, I was there, and I didn't want to be someone, as I started doing the meditations and I started thinking about what I wanted, what I wanted to be. And I drew my little H with the squiggly line, and what I didn't want to just recover from cancer. I had thrive and vitality and, wholeness, and just, I wanted to be healthier than I ever was before. And that was the image that I had going through this, that I was, this was an opportunity, this was a blessing for me to change my life in a path I wasn't, very, very satisfied with before getting this. And that's what it was for me. And so one of the things, I didn't want to take any other medication other than the chemo. Like I didn't want to take, they'll give you, for acid indigestion, they'll give you morphine in the hospital, right? They just want you, quiet and content. And I didn't want to do any of those things. So again, my wife was amazing. She spoke to a number of holistic doctors. I had some supplements to help with that, but I still, as the chemo wore on, I was still really getting, a lot of the symptoms, and I was getting, nausea and all that stuff. And I, was having a little trouble eating, but I didn't want to take it. And so I had been, studying the book. I had seen a few testimonials, and I really started diving into the breath work. And I remember one night I was really, really bad. I just sat in my bed and I'm like, I'm gonna move this out of my body. I'm gonna move this out of my body. And I must have done, basically the breath from your, and moving energy from your lower center is out your brain. I can't think of the word right now, the phrase for it, but everybody knows the breath we do a million times in all the advanced workshops. And I must have done, I had it on one of the meditations where there's like a 7-minute version of that breath. I must have done it 3-4 times. And, it was gone. By the time the third one was gone, all the nausea, all the heartburn, everything was gone. And I remember the next morning I got on the phone with another friend of mine, and he was calling just to check in and see how I was doing. And he was like, worried about how I was doing. I said, you know what? I'm doing great, man. Last night I had like this incredible nausea. Like I just was terrible. And I sat down and I did this breath, and I changed my body with my mind and with my breath. And he's like, oh, cool. Right. Right. All right. Dave's crazy. Gotta go.
The wrong crowd, right?
Yeah, wrong crowd. Did not land with him. But, so I kept doing it every day. And it was really funny part. And I talk about this in the testimonial too. So one of the neat things about the place that I was, one of the good things about this center is they tried to bring in some complementary things to the care. And they did have, a Reiki practitioner there every day, different one, certain times. But I had the same woman for about a week before I started doing this breath work, and she would come in, and I just can't say enough for people who do this, particularly in the hospital settings, even just anybody that was there, the doctors, the nurses, they're just the most incredible people. I got nothing to say about them. They saved my life. But the woman who came in to do this every day, she was just incredible. And, I was in the hospital with chemo, with no immune system during a pandemic. They weren't allowed to touch me. I didn't see anybody's face for, the whole time. And that one woman coming in every day and just putting the lightest touch on my body, just the love that I felt from that, you could feel it, the energy through her was just amazing. And so healing for me. And she went away over like a weekend, and she was actually on vacation for a few more days after that. And then she came back to do a session with me, and she had finished everything, and she was taking off all of her gear that she had to take to wear to keep me safe. And she was about to go to the door, and she just looked at me. She said, I don't know what you're doing, but I have never seen energy like that coming out of someone's head. Like I've never felt it. It was never there with you before. I don't know what you're doing, but just keep doing that. And so I like, well, I'm doing Joe Dispenza. You got to know about Joe Dispenza. She had no idea who Joe Dispenza was, by the way. So now she does. We spent quite some time talking about that afternoon. But, that, and again, I talk about it, but it was like, that was those days, even talking to my friend who didn't get it, but those days were when I knew that I was having an effect. Like I knew I was changing things in my body and I was changing myself. Like I could feel it everywhere. It didn't mean it was easy. It didn't mean it was perfect. It wasn't a linear, just getting better every day, but I knew where I was going. Like I knew the direction that I was heading in was the right one. And so I spent my time, I finished my time in the hospital. I got my bone marrow test, and everything was clean, 100%, no leukemia in my bone marrow. And that is good, right? That's obviously a good thing. I was very fortunate. My mother and my father, I had a gene mutation that was very favorable. There's a million different types of leukemia, and they all have different levels of chemo that you can get for it. And I was very fortunate. The one I had was they had a special treatment for. But so they felt really good about it. But the way they treat leukemia, and this is for almost all leukemias, they give you one round of chemo that was like I just described. You're in there for 40 days because basically you get the chemo for about 10 days and your immune system is gone for the next 21 days. And then it slowly builds back up. And once you get to a certain level, they let you out of the hospital. And then they want to do another 4 rounds of a different type of chemotherapy where you're in there for 6 days and then you go home. And your immune system goes from, I was perfectly healthy when I left, and perfectly healthy when I came back. But you're in there and it just basically it kills your immune system and they send you home for 21 days. And I did not listen to myself, or my wife for that matter. I did not feel right about going back and doing that. But I did it because the doctors, this is what they do. They do one and then they do another round, but it didn't make sense for me from the process. I went home and I have 4 kids, 2 dogs, my wife, it's a pandemic and I have no immune system and I'm supposed to be home. It never felt safe. And what happened, what I knew in my mind, maybe I put it there too, was going to happen. And I got an infection. So when you're in this state, if you have 100-degree fever, you have to be rushed to the emergency room. And that night I was laying in bed and I knew things weren't right. And I was asleep and my dog, Maggie, I'll try to put her on here. She's asleep on the floor behind me.
What's up, Maggie?
Maggie, she's deaf now, but
never mind.
But Maggie is interesting because even in the 2 weeks before I got diagnosed, she never slept upstairs in my room and was sleeping next to my bed every night. Like she knew she was there. And that night she was up in my bedroom. And in the middle of the night, she got up and walked around, and she never does anything like that. And it woke me up. And I got up and I had almost 104-degree fever. And when I got to the hospital, my blood pressure was, almost unrecordable. My heart rate was in the 200s, bad shape. And a thank you to Janine. She saw me at my worst moment. She came over to watch my kids while my wife took me to the hospital. And, I basically had an infection that was on my body, gave it to myself because I had nothing to defend against it. And I was in the hospital for a long time, after that. And one of the nights I was there, and I had all kinds of an infection, and I actually had because they were trying to overtreat it, I had heart failure and I was getting fluid in my body. I gained 30 pounds in about 3 days of fluid. And then once they got it fixed, I lost that in about 3 days, that and another 20 pounds. But the second day or the second evening, so the third day, second evening, I was in the hospital. I was so out of it. I wasn't doing my meditations, and I finally got the mentality that I wasn't, and then I didn't have my headphones. I didn't have my Dr. J. I didn't have all my stuff, but I was gonna go and inside, right? I was gonna do it. I was gonna practice it. And I had the craziest, I mean, I had my temperature, they basically was 105. They were giving me IVs of Tylenol and it wasn't changing. It was the same temperature. So I don't know what my temperature was. And I was in a state, and I remember seeing, like, I was inside all of my chakras, and they were all the colors that you see, and I was floating around in them, just me. And I remember going around like my second and third center, and I saw a vision of a face, and it was pissed off. It was, why did you do this? You had healed yourself. You had done this. This chemo is going to kill you. I almost felt like it was my dad, because, he was coming back to kind of tell me, you did it, don't, no more of this. And, the very next day, I started to feel a little better. I actually was fortunate enough. One of the givings of love that I got during all this was someone at work that I didn't really know all that well. He was very close friends with the head of the large Hackensack, the main hospital in our area. And they actually got me into their premier cancer center. And they took me up there because the hospital I was in almost killed me a couple different times while I was there. And they got me in there, and I got better, and it took a while, and I got better, and I began to be able to kind of get back into my practice. And I remember the one thing, and we did Botec, the very first Botec, the one that's in the progressive intensive. Which, by the way, I do want to say, I think my mother and I, who I bought the progressive, we'll get more to her in a minute, but there were two of the only people I think that ever purchased the progressive and intensive by itself. So I did that. Blessing of the Energy Centers, the one at the very end of that. I mean, every single day that I was in that hospital, and then for the next like 9 months, because when he talked about it in there, about how that person did it like 5 times a day next to his cell phone, and it changed his body. That's what I was envisioning that I was going to do. And I had all kinds. I had heart issues. I basically I had to take all these heart drugs. I had something my wife tells me happens to many pregnant women, and I should stop complaining about it, but I had like a tear from, when you have all the stuff coming out of my rear end during all of this. I tore something, and I had to sit on, like, whenever we got like a package, I had to sit on the bubble wrap because, it was so painful. But I just committed myself that I was going to do this work, and I was going to heal myself. And I didn't want to just be a surviving patient. I wanted to thrive. And one of the things that I had always in my vision about it, so this endurance events that I used to do, they're called 29029, which is the height of Mount Everest in feet. And you basically, they rent out a mountain, a ski resort, and you climb it however many times you have to get to that level. And I had done it a couple of times. And that was what I was training for when I got sick. And my daughter, I don't know if everybody can see this, but my daughter and my ex-wife, ironically, had painted me this picture. And I looked at it every morning in the hospital and every day after that, as that was where I was going to be. And it says, you can't see it, says keep going, almost there. And that's me crawling up the mountain, and there's the finish line. I wanted to be, that was, where I wanted to get to. So, I tried to get into every Dr. Joe event after that. I wanted to be part of the community. I wanted to be more involved in it. I finally realized there was a community when I started looking at everything that was going on, and that he had this website and all these YouTube videos. It's so funny how it's not there unless you're made aware of it. And I wasn't aware at how hard it was to get into one of these events. Like, you really, you got to be on it, right? You got to be on it in 10 minutes. So I kept missing them. And during that time, I actually went and I saw another doctor, a naturopathic doctor out in Idaho. And if anybody's dealing with a cancer journey or an autoimmune journey, and you ever want to talk to me about it, I would be happy to talk to you about it, because to help the body along, what he does there is amazing. And he's a big, I've turned him into a Dr. Joe fan, so he's cool with it, and he gets it. And it's just an amazing place. And he was just all about healing my heart, healing my immune system, all the things that, you know, I needed to do. Because the thing about leukemia is why they make you do all these things over and over again is they're always worried about it coming back. And I realized that I was still living in that bit of fear, even going to the doctors and everything and doing this other thing. So it was something I knew that I needed. I don't know why I knew, but I knew I needed to go to an event. So I got into Cancun in Mexico, which is interesting because I had always in my life, and you know, I have a lot of friends who live in Mexico. I have friends who I know that are from Mexico, grew up their whole life. And I always had this fear, you know, you read about in the papers, there's all these things. And so it was almost like this little mini fear that I was challenging to go and take a trip there by myself, and go and see this place, you know, without any thoughts about doing it. And so I got to the event, and if anybody's been there, you know how amazing the whole resort is. I was at the far end of it, which, you know, sometimes isn't as luxurious as the one right where he has the event, the adults only, with the pools and all that stuff. But it was absolutely, you know, just the perfect thing, because, you know, the people that I met there, and the walks that we got to have, and it was a 15-minute walk. Before, during, after, you know, every morning, just somebody you'd run into, and it just set me up for the whole like event, and it just built every single day.
David, which Cancun event did you go to? Just curious.
It was January, February 2022. So it was the last 2 days of January and the first 2 days, or first 5 days, 6 days of February. More, and if you were at that event, there's some things you're going to remember that I'll talk about in a minute. So, you know, I spoke about it, and Robby brought it up. You know, the event was literally everything I needed every single day. Was just another little bit more, and I could feel myself changing. I could feel my heart opening up. And with one rare exception where I let my brain get in the way, was the kaleidoscope. I could not figure out the kaleidoscope. I'm like, am I supposed to have my eyes open and phase out? Or am I supposed to close my eyes and imagine the kaleidoscope's there? I got in my head for that entire meditation. And I had the most frustrating walk back home with somebody who understood. And they're like, well, you know, there's no bad meditations. You gave frustration a shot, and now you know you don't like it. So don't do that anymore. You know, so I don't know whether it was the very next day but it was the very first walking meditation. And I remember exactly the words that Dr. Joe said. And because, you know, when I went through this, I changed so much, right? I changed before, from who I was before to this angry person, and I changed again. And I had a little, I guess, sort of like, I don't know what it was, unworthiness or sensitivity about, you know, like, does everything I did before this, was it not, you know, the right thing? I questioned all these things. And I remember in that meditation, he says, you know, what have you done before? What have you done in your life before? And it was in a tone of, you know, be proud of yourself. And I just got this, I never felt anything like it before in my life. Like, my heart just felt, I can't say it was fire because it wasn't painful, but it was just, I mean, it was the most real thing I have ever experienced. Like, I could feel it, and I was bawling my eyes out. And it was funny because, you know how they do the videos and the pictures, and then they show them up on the screen. and they have a video, and Dr. Joe's walking and I'm behind him, and I'm like, must have been right when I'm having the moment, because I am bawling my eyes out, my arms are flailing around, and Dr. Joe's just walking by with that stoic Dr. Joe voice. But it was incredible. You know, I knew that, you know, this was like another one of those things on my path, like just to, you know, experience something like this and know that this was real. And I, again, was a person who would have never felt like I could have an experience like that. Like even after everything I had gone through, I still felt like I wasn't a guy who was going to have a mystical experience. I wasn't going to feel anything weird like that. Like I was getting rid of the stress, and I was becoming a happier person. And, you know, it taught me there's so much more to this every time you do it. And you can always find something new for you, no matter where you are. And we're all humans, and we have 2 steps forward and 1 step back at times. So then we had the pineal gland meditation. And, you know, I'd really talked to anybody. Nobody told anybody back then that, you know, this was going to be a 4-hour event. You know, I think the longest one I had done was one of the breaking the habit, you know, hour and 10 minutes, which I did that in my hospital bed, which was really challenging to get 71 minutes from nurses popping in or the emergency light going off or something like that. But anyway, you know, I don't even know how to describe it. So in and out, up and down, and finally, you know, I didn't even really feel like I was moving up or down. Like when this happened, I didn't know whether I was sitting or whether I was laying on the ground at first. And I felt something in my body, in my, you know, second center area. And I didn't know what it was. It was wriggling around. And I didn't open my eyes, but with my eyes closed, I looked up. You know, it's the only way I can describe it. My eyes were not open. And I saw the 2 little beings standing over me. And the one was actually kneeling in front of me, and another one was standing behind it. And the one that was kneeling was really digging through my body, and I could feel him touching touching my body and removing things from my body. And I was so afraid, because Dr. Joe talked about how, you know, if something happens, like, don't fight it. And I was so afraid to look at him. Like, I didn't want to like mess it up. So I'm just like, this is cool. It's totally cool. Everything's fine. You know, nothing bad going on here. And, but I just sort of like, again, my eyes closed. Out of the corner of my closed eyes, I looked up, and, you know, and I saw them, and all it did was look at me and said, it's gone. And stood up, and it was gone as fast as that. And, you know, I immediately went out again, like I was not there. I was not totally conscious of whether I was sitting or standing or what I was. But then I knew I was on the ground when I started shaking. I must have bounced up and down for probably 5 to 10 minutes, just my whole body, like nothing I've ever felt before. Couldn't describe, you know, I couldn't stop it. I didn't want to stop it. It was incredible. It was amazing. And Dr. Joe talked about, you know, that afterwards. And he said, you know, if this happens, he actually gave a specific example of somebody. He said, you know, you're probably getting an upgrade when that happens. So, you know, that was a good confirmation for me. And it's funny, one thing about that whole week in Cancun, if anybody was there, I was in the white group. And if you were in the white group, you know, probably remember what I was talking about. There were several people that were there, and they were loud, like every meditation, like they were screaming at the top of their lungs. And a lot of people were getting disturbed by it. And I just knew being disturbed was not the right emotion to bring to that event. And that right before the pineal gland meditation, I sat down, and they were sitting, the people who were doing it kind of loudest were sitting right next to me. And I just said to myself, I'm like, whatever they've got coming through, it's energy, and I am just going to take it. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to question it. I'm going to I'm going to just ride whatever wave these guys are riding. And, you know, so I'm very grateful for them. I know a lot of people were concerned about them, but I tell you, I don't know how much they contributed, but it was amazing, that they were there and their energy was there. So then the very next day, which was, you know, the last day, was the body, electric, the meditation, the laying down. And that was, again, it was wonderful for me. And I got up and, you know, I don't know what it was about Cancun or Barcelo or just my brain at that moment. Like I literally don't remember putting my shoes on. I don't remember taking my shoes off to go on the beach. I don't remember any of it. I just remembered I was laying down and then I was walking on the beach, listening to the walking meditation. Like I literally don't, even to this day, don't really remember how I got from point A to point B. And I was doing the meditation and I had, again, just another moment where like my heart burst open, like right in the very beginning of it. And, you know, I'm having a time, and got to the part where you know, you stop, lay down, maybe lay down, stop, walk again. And then I got to the very end, right before you lay down, where you stop and you look out. And I looked out, I wanted to go right to the shoreline. And I walked out. And I noticed when I looked up, the sun was on my right-hand side and it was really bright. And with my eyes closed, it was really like a orange kind of yellow feeling, and it felt warm. And I had my eyes closed and I got this burst of just white. It blinded the sun. I knew it wasn't the sun because it wasn't even coming from the direction of the sun. It was right in front of my face and it lit up the whole area. And I knew that I was part of the divine. That's what I felt. I was part of it and it was part of me. And as I said in my testimony, there were little light beings kind of all around me, just all over. And I got the message that everything that had happened to me in my life leading to this point is what got me here. And it was all for a purpose, and that it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be all right. You know, this is what you were meant to go through. And, you know, I remember walking away from that meditation, and I don't know what it was, but, you know, we all hug each other after these meditations, but there was a woman that I had seen every day for that. And we passed each other, but when we said hello and smiled and everything, but she was standing right there and she must've known, you know, what was going on. And we turned and we walked and we hugged each other for what must've been, you know, 5 minutes. And, you know, she was just, you know, so happy and so loving to me. It was just, again, it was just, that love that you get from this work and this community and this knowingness is just, there's nothing like it in the world. And so, yeah, and I remember, so I got, you know, walked off the beach and there was another person that I'd been talking to for days. And, you know, the whole time we were there, and he had what he called a bad meditation. And I'm, you know, I'm glowing and I'm sparkling and everything. And I'm like, hey, somebody told me there's no bad meditations. You just tried frustration. You don't like it, so don't do it anymore. And I remember turning, and I had my shoes on. I don't know how I got them on. I had my running shoes on, and I just felt like running. And I hadn't run really since I'd been sick. You know, this was, you know, 9 months since I got it. You know, and I'd gotten kind of all clear in December from the heart doctor that I could start to do exercise and stuff. And I just took off, and it was the most incredible feeling. And I remember, because when I was doing my meditations where I had my little squiggly H, my H with a squiggly line about it, like I visioned myself like with my arms in the air, and I was on a beach and I was running and I could just feel it. And it all started well up in me, and I literally, my arms went up in the air and I'm running past all these tourists that aren't Dr. Joe people on the little boardwalk and everything, you know, in pure celebration. But it was, you know, it was, you know, again, just the whole thing coming coming to light. And I'll fast forward a little bit. So that event that I did, I had already signed up for another version of when I got sick. And about a month before I went to Cancun, the owner of the place said, we're holding your spot, and he knew I was sick. He's an amazing person, would email me and text me when I was in the hospital. And he's like, we're holding your spot for you, whichever one you want to come to, you come to. And, and I thought about that picture, and I thought that my daughter, I showed you that my daughter drew me or painted me, and, and I signed up for it. And I went out there, and, that was something that I had seen too. Like I had seen myself climbing that mountain in my meditations. I pictured it, like what it would feel like. And so I got there, and I remember my wife was a little, concerned about, that much exercise, because, endurance sports can lower your immunity if you push too hard. So I really didn't train for it very much. I was going to try to be really kind of even keeled. And I promised myself and my wife that when I got there, if I listen to my body, I would listen to my body. I wouldn't push myself. And all I wanted to do was get up that mountain one time. And I just wanted to get up to the top of it. And so I got there and I did that. And and it was amazing. And I actually had met one of the camera people at dinner the other night, and we were talking about it. And, I told him my story, and, I told him how I healed myself and Dr. Joe, and he was a big Dr. Joe fan, been to a couple of events. And there was another guy there. I don't know if any of you guys know Dash. He's a Dr. Joe guy. He's got a resort down in Mexico. He was there, and there was a woman doing the video for everything, and she also is a big Dr. Joe person. And so they started filming me as I was going up the mountain and stuff like that. And she kept asking me, like, do you think you're going to finish? Are you trying to finish? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, I'm just happy to be where I'm at, and I'm just going to listen to my body. I'm glad that I'm here. And so you have to climb it for this event. You have to climb it 17 times to complete the amount of it. So it's about 2,000 feet each time, or about 1,800 feet each time. It's about 1.5 miles each walk. And that night at like 9 o'clock, I had finished 9 of them. So it was 13 hours, and I'd only gotten, 15 hours, and I'd only gotten 9 of them done. So I was not on a pace to finish. And it was like 30 degrees out, and the wind was blowing, and I decided I'm gonna listen to my body, and I'm gonna go to bed. I'm not gonna worry about it. I didn't come here to finish. I'm just gonna go to bed. And so I went to bed, and I get up, and I had like the best night's sleep. And usually when you're at these things, you don't sleep very well because you're drinking so much water to stay hydrated. You got to get up and pee every 2 hours. But I slept for 8 hours, slept from 10 o'clock to 6 in the morning, which I never do at these events. I hardly do it in real life. And I woke up, and I said, you know what, let's just go back out and just do a couple more, and just be with these, amazing people, and keep talking to people. And I got there, and the woman who kind of tracks everybody, she's a really amazing lady. She was like, you know what, last night at about 10 o'clock, the winds got so bad, they shut the gondola down. And I would have been going up for that lap right then when I decided not to. And I would have been up there for 3 hours in 25, 30 degree weather with 30-mile-an-hour winds, sitting at the top of that mountain, but with probably 30 or 40 other people. And I didn't. And because they closed it down for so many hours, they put an hour on the back end of it. So they gave everybody an extra hour and said, you have an extra hour to do this. And I said, well, I'm still not going to try. It's not my goal to do it. But as I started going up the mountain, like I got in such a flow state. So it took me 13 hours to do 9. I did the next 8 in under 7 hours. And I've never felt like that. I started it. First one I did, and Robby, you'll appreciate this, I put a Dr. Joe walking meditation on. And that's what got me. I think it got me in the frame of mind, and it got me up in the state. And, 7 hours later, and it was like, I started to realize that like I knew what this was going to be like, and I knew what this was going to feel like, because I had thought about it, every day in that hospital when I looked at that picture that I was going to be, and it just really kind of changed what my thoughts of what that day was going to be like.
They here? They here?
No.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So I'm talking for a while, but I wanted to give one more thing, one more.
Oh, rush. Don't feel rushed. This is your time.
Yeah. Thank you. So, having this happen to me, this community means so much to me, and I wanted to bring that to my family. I wanted to share that with my family. So last year for Christmas time, I didn't really get anybody anything for Christmas. I said, anybody wants to go to a Dr. Joe event, that's your Christmas present. I'll take anybody anywhere you want to go. And so as those of you who are in Nashville, you know that, my mother and my son came. And, Robby, as he said, was the first one to greet us. And it really, my mom, we can talk a little bit, and I'm going to share my screen in a minute. My mom, back in February of 22, when I was, just after I got back from Dr. Joe, she was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And I'm going to show you a picture. My mom's not going to be very.
Let me make you host.
Yeah,
I have to make you
ready.
host.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 seconds. All right.
Okay. And
Sorry.
Hello, Mom.
Hi, don't put that picture up.
well, you might be lucky. I might not be able to find it.
Oh, that's all right.
Let's see. But you know what? I have it on my phone.
He doesn't quit, which is what the best part is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's well said. Probably gets it from you.
So I'll show you this picture, and I hope you can see it.
You're not gonna see it.
This is my mom when she got it, and that was her getting her medical marijuana card in New Jersey, because when you have Parkinson's, that's what they give you. And she was having a hard time, right? She was having a hard time walking, having a hard time doing a lot of things. And shortly after that, she got the progressive and intensive course downloaded on her computer by her son. Didn't do it right away, but was progressing slowly through it and working to get herself going. And I know she'd even done I'd introduced her to Leland's work as well, and doing some of those things, and was really improving. And especially when I said, we're going to this Dr. Joe event, and it's about 30 days out, and you better start watching the goddamn progressive and intensive events. She started doing it. She started doing the meditations, the blessing of the energy centers. And, when we got there, I could tell there was still a little bit of fear. And I'll tell you, Robby, always in your debt for the way that you welcomed us into that event, because I think it changed that emotion for all of us, and for her. I mean, I knew it was love, and I think that it was real for all of us. Certainly meant a lot to my mother and my son. And
you guys.
Later that night, we were in for the first night, and my mom was sitting there, and we met a family that was their first time, and they were asking, had I been to any? And I talked a little bit about it, and his wife actually had just passed away from cancer, and we had talked. He'd asked me about my story a little bit, and I told him a shorter version of what I just told everybody there. And my mom, I don't know whether she'd watched my testimonial, but it really didn't register with her until she heard me telling them. And yeah, I found out that night that my mom, when she, knew I was sick, she tried to make a deal with God that if he would heal me, that he could take her. And when she heard me tell that story to those people there, at how, what this work had done to me and how it had healed me, it was the first time that she knew that I was healed, right? And that she could let all that go. And the healing that came about for her was pretty transformative transformational as well. And most of you have probably seen it, and I wish I could actually get it on the screen, but I'm going to just pull it up anyway and play the video. I don't know if you have it, Robbie, but
I do have, I have it on my WhatsApp. Give me 2 seconds. I could just share it right away. So you said the testimonial?
no, the dance. I'll send it to you right now.
No, I don't have it. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it for everybody. Let's see here.
I saw this live.
Yeah, you saw this live. Well, look,
I
you're in
did,
it.
I did
You're in the video.
too.
Yes. Oh my God, I remember that so vividly.
Right up there.
Kathy,
awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Your intention.
If you were in Nashville, you definitely saw that.
Yeah, it was great.
All motion.
Yeah. So
Beautiful
I
moment.
can't tell she was riding on top of someone's shoulders.
a wonderful person that just picked her up. Yeah.
Young kid.
So yeah, so it, I don't have much else to say, but I love, my son has gotten into it, and actually it's had an interesting effect on my younger son. He was very jealous that he didn't get to go, and he's going to take me up on my Christmas present offer now. So
Amazing.
I'll have some more Johnsons there soon.
Beautiful.
Dude. Ooh. What an amazing story. Oh wow. As always, if you have any questions, you have comments, please raise your hand with the emoji. I'll get to you guys. Yeah, that was the delivery was great, which is kind of irrelevant. Just what you talked about. It's so beautiful because you're so open and understanding of everything that you were going through. And wow. The experiences you had, the friends that helped you.
Yeah.
So
I
beautiful.
tell you, the love that I felt when I was in that hospital turned the tide.
Yeah.
Even before I began the work, it was a setup for the work. It really was.
Wow, that's intense. You had me in tears a couple times, man. I have a couple questions, or one. I say, because you were the holistic. You said you were open to it, like even prior to Dr. Joe. Is that something that, like, growing up, or is it something you picked up along the way?
It's something I picked up along the way. I'd done a lot of research into nutrition and stuff, and I think it's beyond nutrition, but it's a big piece of it. And there was a doctor that I originally consulted with, and he had some interesting perspectives on it. He was the one that basically said, for acute, what you have, you got to get at least one round of chemo, and then kind of we'll work on a program from there. But the way I really like to dig in, like Dr. Joe, into the science of it. And there's so much out there now about how this stuff, it's not an either or. I mean, my wife says it all the time. She's like, we don't know exactly what healed David. It's the Dr. Joe, it's the chemo did, and the holistic treatments and the supplements that he provides. They're all science based. I mean, they really are. And so the guy that I went out to see was a guy out in Idaho. He just, again, even if you're going to, he doesn't care whether you do the chemo or you don't do the chemo, or what traditional or the don't. He's just there to make you the strongest person you can be, so that if you're getting the chemo, that these supplements that you take can help limit damage. They can help you in other ways. And I was there for 2 weeks. I was getting IVs for 8 hours a day, and it was incredible. It was something that, my heart, to come back from I couldn't walk a mile. I couldn't walk down the street. I weighed 120 pounds if I was lucky, with clothes on. None of my clothes fit me. I couldn't, I had a really hard time breathing. I had, a fair amount of, side effects from everything that happened. And, it's amazing what you can do with all of this.
I think, I mean, this story is beyond inspiring, brother. This is like your mindset through this is incredible. And yeah, I mean, I think that mindset is what did it. And before I forget to say, please share that quote about the frustration with the community, because that's such a great quote. It's because that's something that like cuts through the fat, gets right to you, and kind of makes a point for yourself. One last thing, Bev, I'll let you go, and then Angela. I know you did a testimonial. I don't know if you've been to an advanced follow-up. They did Blue Bean testimonials, and you should reach out if you wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah. I would. I was at Marco Island with Murad. He was my healee in that special space light castle we built for him. So yeah, I was at that one. I was in the mystic study.
Beautiful. But they all right, so Bev, you are up, and again, David, great conversation, man. Great. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, David, I gotta
Hey,
sorry, give me 2 seconds. How do I unhost you, David? Why is it not letting?
No, I don't know. You want me to unmute somebody?
Can you unhost yourself? Can you?
I'm unmuted, but
Oh wait,
I think
got
you can
it. Yeah,
you can transfer you back.
I got it. Okay. All right, you're up there. Sorry.
I just want to say I'm just wow, like on so many levels. It was an absolute beautiful, heartfelt just delivery, but the story it's amazing on so many levels. And your story reminded me of I was telling Robby before I did my testimony, my story, that I don't usually talk about it. And I sat with that, Robby, you told me this was going to like open up stuff inside me. And I sat with it for a while and tried to figure out like, why wouldn't I stand on, something and just kind of shout out to people. But what I came up with, and what I actually was just talking to Brianne about, is that my journey is my journey. And I went without chemo, and it makes me scared that people would not tap into their own intuition and just follow that, because it's not for everyone. And that's why this story is so important, I think, for this community to hear, because you are not going against Dr. Joe work to invite whatever other treatments. It's not about like ignoring everything else and solely focusing on the meditations have to work. It's about just being aware. It's about your intuition. And like, I love the part where you were saying how, you just had this intuitive moment that you knew you shouldn't do chemo again. Like the first time you knew you should do it, and it all went beautifully for you. And I love how you talked about, envisioning it only hurting, the bad cells, and that you were cleaning out, and all those things are just so perfect. And it is what it is, but your body and your soul told you that you were done, that you didn't need more, and you didn't listen. And we all do that. And it's just amazing when you can look back and yeah. And the other thing that I thought was it just really hit me, when people ask about when you're doing a meditation, what are you focused on? And are you focused on like, making, if you want to walk again, or you want to get rid of cancer, or you want to like, do you focus on, that particular ailment? And I think you said it so beautifully in that. And I realized in that moment from listening to you that that's what I did too. I didn't sit there and think of all of my list of illnesses. I said, I want to be healthy. I want to be vibrant. I want to have energy. I want to run. And those things are things that you really can emotionally feel. I don't know if you can feel what it feels like to no longer have an illness. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tap into that, because that's not really the issue. The issue is you want to feel healthy. The issue is the things that you want to do. And when you can tap into those feelings, everything else just happens. And it's just so beautiful that you that your vision came to light. I'm sorry, thank you for sharing. It was
Well-
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well,
Thank you.
Bev, I got lots of aha moments from you too. So thank you for sharing too. I mean, it makes it so, you know, I mean, when I was telling Robbie earlier today, like when I got home from Cancun, like I wanted to do that testimonial because I know when I was going through it, I was looking for the nugget, I was looking for the thing that would help me just reinforce what I was doing. So, you know.
Two warriors right here that are going back and forth. This is beautiful. You guys are so awesome.
We're all connected.
This is what it's all about. Thanks, Bev. Angela Orr, the amazing Angela Orr, you are up. Oop. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Is anybody else not hearing Angela?
Now?
Oh, there you are.
Okay, I don't know why my earbuds I can hear, but you can't hear me when I talk, so I put it
Get a
on the
refund.
phone. So first of all, thank you so much for that testimonial. It was incredible, like Bev said, just so much that you said that resonated so much with me. And one of the things that I thought was so interesting was when you talked about talking to the chemotherapy. Because I'm running a book study right now on breaking the habit. And one of the things that we've been talking about is talking to your body, giving love to your body and to those parts. And, although it may feel silly at first or it may feel unnatural, it really is natural to do that. I mean, we talk to our friends and family like that. Why not talk to ourselves like that? And so that was just really beautiful. And I really appreciated you saying that. The other thing I wanted to say is you're not the only one who bought the Progressive Intensive. I did too. And it's a great course because I'm like, I want it forever. I don't want it just for a short time. I want to then go back to again and again and again. But just really thank you. I think that you're such an example, like Dr. Joe talks about the 4-minute mile. And to be able to have gone through, and again, I could reiterate everything Bev said, but with the mindset, and I think to me, it was about doing the work, doing the meditations, doing the breath work, doing the talking to yourself, keeping that in your mind when it's all happening. It was just really beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. And I remember being in the hospital when, in one of the episodes in the Progressive where he talks about, you can't tell me you're too sick to do this. Like, you can't tell me, and I was like, all right, I can't tell him I'm too sick to do this. I get up and do this breath. And I remember when I had that like tear in my derriere, I mean, that was, like so painful to do it. And I was like, I'm not getting up from this chair. Not getting up from this chair.
Great. So I'm going to go through some of the just the comments from your journey. From Kathy, Dave, you have chosen to thrive and heal. You are a true beacon of light and a warrior to yourself and others. Thank you for being you and for your vulnerability. Thanks, Kathy. From Jill, hello from Jill, and Noah says hi to both you, to you both, and to Josh. What's up, Noah? Is Noah like growing rapidly right now? Like, I feel like he grew like 3 inches in Nashville. Noah's another youth. It's Jill's son. He's in the youth group. From Simona, a mother's pure love. She would be ready to give up everything for a child. Yeah, that brought me to tears. So much love to you, Judith. So much love. And shout out to Judith again for the dance. That was awesome. That was so cool. So cool. From Tarek, wow, I remember the dance, I'm assuming. Okay. Julia, just this emoji with a huge heart. From Amelia, thank you, David. So moving. The love, man, the love. You're so balanced with your with how you sound, what you're talking about, what you went through. You know, from Lala, just hearing David's testimonial opened my heart up even more. From John Mullane, thank you so much, David, for sharing your amazing heartfelt story. Amelia, David, you healed you. From Gina, Kathy and I saw y'all the time, the time in Nashville, and we're so inspired by you three, the whole event. We even got to see Judith surfing the waves of the crowd. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, you guys were inspired. It was just so cool to see your family dynamic there. It was really, really cool. And I'm glad everything worked out with that event. From Cosette, thank you so much, David. What a beautiful story. I could feel your love and gratitude you have for life. Big time. From Simona again, it started with you. You were the commander of the boat. Without you at the helm, that healing wouldn't have happened. From Todd, thank you, David. And thank you, Todd and Janine, for being on the call. And thank you for inspiring David. From Murad, David, you are such a warrior. This is love in action. Many thanks for the inspirations. Christina Clark, David, so incredible. You did the 4-minute mile with your journey. Thank you for providing this gift of your testimony. I double that. From Tracy, Tracy's not here anymore. Tracy had to go. She wanted to say thank you for inspiring me to be more in this work and to go even deeper in this work. You exemplify everything that Dr. Joe teaches us and brought this to a new understanding and new, oh crap, I can't see that, new whatever powerful inspiration for me. You are willing to surrender and just receive, bingo, which is so powerful and exactly what must happen for healing to begin, bingo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You must fall on your sword. You must deal with things. You must get to that point where you can be your true self to accept this. If not, it'll always just creep back in like a splinter. From Margaret, David, great testimony, and your mom, so happy for you both. From Chuck, thank you so much, 3 hearts. From Elizabeth, oh, hello, oh, she's gone now, I didn't see her in the room. Hello, Elizabeth, I love Elizabeth, met her in Nashville, such an amazing person. I gotta go, but can't leave without saying huge thanks to this loving, powerful community for all the amazing work and healing love vibes you put out always. Love you guys so much. From Jill, thank you so much for sharing, David. I was so grateful to hear part of your story in Nashville, and I was thinking at the time of how many people would be immensely blessed by listening to your story. So glad you shared such a beautiful journey and inspiration. And on that note with Jill, it was just, guys, I put these links, the link for the Sunday Night Journeys in our feed. Share these with everyone. Like I've been seeing from Leland's call, like more people are hearing these that aren't even on the calls, and they're just keep sharing these because these stories are changing lives. It's so beautiful. From Murad, thanks for sharing your amazing journey. You must share on Dr. Joe's testimonial videos if you haven't yet. So I think the one that you shared was the testimonial for Dr. Joe, but do one for the Blue Beings. I'm telling you, if you want to, they do for the Blue Beings.
I will. Yep.
I don't know if he only does that at advanced follow-ups or he just did it at the one in Nashville. I can't remember. Or I don't know. It's not, I can't remember. From David, I'm awesome. No, I'm just kidding. From Lala, David, I am so inspired by your journey. You give me so much hope. Judith, we were Heelys together. I remember standing next to you talking while we were waiting to go into the ballroom, and you were telling me about David. Yes, I remember. From Judith. From Leela, David, you are a true warrior. Thanks for sharing your story with us. From Joe, what's going on, Joe? Awesome story, David. Thank you for sharing. Quick question. Did you identify what you had to change? You are an inspiration, sir. So did you identify what you had to change?
Yeah, I mean, it was fear. It was fear of, stuff that wasn't real.
Yep.
It's a big part of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Eric again. Much love to you, David. You gave me more of a drive to keep going. Coming off of a setback with pain stiffness, and it's a perfect time to hear the story and message. Much love. Completely agree.
Anytime,
Right?
brother. Anytime, Derek. Love you.
Whew, all right. So again, David, if anybody has anything they'd like to say, please just put your hand up. I want to make sure everybody. Kevin, there we go. Boom. Anybody else too?
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Nashville was my first event, and I think everyone kind of remembers certain people from their first event that inspired them. And I just want to, I never got to say this to David yet, but I just want to say thank you, because he shared a lot of his story with me in Nashville. And, you know, it just kind of gave me the belief that I needed at that time for me to have some special moments at that event. So thank you so much, man, for sharing that with me at the event. Dude, you're a freaking warrior, man. Like, to get back on that mountain and accomplish your goal there, and you know, manifest that and see that come to reality, that's awesome too. And then the last part is just the family piece for me is just so special, because I mean, I know you guys have seen like my kids with me on these Zoom calls, and I have visions in future aspirations of my kids joining me at one of these events, and also my mom as well. So just the fact that you've brought your family along for the ride just shows how much love you have in your heart and how much love you have for your family. So you're just an awesome example of this community, and just such an inspiration for me, man. So thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Good stuff. So Murad, we got a couple extra ones. So Murad wrote, have to leave. This was great. See you tomorrow morning. So Murad's referring to our 5 a.m. meditation or our 11 a.m. He's talking about 5, but we have both. Guys, if you don't meditate, and if you're looking to meditate, go off this vibe. Don't hold back. Use this inspiration from this call. If it works with your schedule, I know life's busy, but if it's something that you can do, join us, because we create magic on these calls. David will be there, Murad will be there, Kathy will be there. Well, a whole bunch of us will be there, but just go off this wave. This is so beautiful. If it works for you, just know that option's there for everybody.
Absolutely.
From Delphine Ruiz, I'm new to this group and I can't stop crying. I'm feeling you, sister. For all the love I feel from what you've shared. The impossible is possible. Much love to you all. From Amelia, welcome, beautiful Delphine. Angela, remember, it's not impossible. It's possible. It's I'm possible. Beautiful. And from Leela, Delphine, you're here. I love you and your big heart. Oh, that's Leela's friend. Shout out to Leela, always referring amazing people to our community. Laura, what's going on?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, David. That was so beautiful. And the way that you communicated it, it's just so the truth and so real. It just, you know, just flowed out of you. It was amazing. And I love that Bev shared it too, the last one that I was on, that, you know, her children are willing to listen to her now. And, you know, and your children are listening to you. And I think it's because it's like, it's so real, you know, like sometimes we're telling people what they should do or what we think they should do, especially children or, you know, the people that we think we know better. But when it's just real, then they want to listen to you. I'm curious too, though, about your mom. And I see you're here, Judith, and I know you went to an event. My aunt has Parkinson's, and I'm curious if you've kept up the work and if you've noticed a difference with your condition, the Parkinson's, if you have.
Yes, I do. I meditate almost every single day, and I'm Dr. Joe and Leland, and I just started looking at some Wayne Dyer too. So just on my journey too, but I have a wonderful, wonderful son. So I'm sure you all know that now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah,
Thank you.
she didn't say specifically, but she got off like all her inhalers and stuff like that. So she's doing great. She even got her husband to meditate. So
He's into it now.
Looking
He
right
falls
at you, you can tell.
miracle.
Laura, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Laura.
From Susie, thank you. Sending love and hugs.
Mhm.
All right, guys. So we're gonna do to go off of this energy, this is going to be great. We're going to do Go Love. It's a 15-minute meditation. So we're going to do that for Brienne, her family. Just give her a big, big hug and wrap her with all of our hugs, all of our hearts. Sorry. Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, can I say one more thing about
Yeah,
bringing
sure. Yeah, sure.
family and your kids into it? So, you know, it's a reaffirmation for you because they know it like it's the back of their hand, like they don't have all the stuff that I, screwed myself up with for 53 years. They don't have all the baggage, and they just know this stuff works. They just know it's real. So yeah, grandkids, kids, whatever you got.
Yeah. Like, I had, I've had crazy things happening my whole life where I thought nobody could relate to it. So it came off as coincidences until you run into people that are like-minded. And that happened very later in my life. So yeah, it's starting young and with their brains fresh. It's great. And their souls are fresh.
Yeah.
Well, fresh in that body, I should say. So from Joe, where do you get the links for meditations? I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to do it all. I'm going to share this meditation with everyone. So if you want to get your eye gear, go get that.
He probably means for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday ones, probably.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That's, Joe, I think if you're not in the Morning Warrior Connectors WhatsApp group, if you're definitely in Sunday Night Journeys, I'll add you to that. And in that, I share the Zoom links. They're in the profile of the WhatsApp, but I share it every 10, 15 minutes before every meditation. And then
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
You got it, brother. And
Right.
and then we meditate. And we talk, and then we share things, and we share quotes, and we build energy and just create how this got created from these meditations. It's so freaking amazing. All right, guys. So yeah, I'll give you about a minute. We'll get started. Oops. From Amelia, had to jump off to tend my daughter, sending Brienne all my love and huge love to you all. Thank you for the love. All right, so I'm just going to mute everybody. All and David, thank you again. So we're actually just going to sign off right after the meditation. Okay, we're not going to regroup back. Okay, so I love you guys. I'll see you in the morning. If you're interested, again, my email's in this chat. So just grab that email, and if you're in the Sunday Night Journeys, you have my phone number. Just WhatsApp me or DM or text me, whatever it is. Just let me know, and we'll make it happen. Shit, was somebody about to say something right when I muted everybody? Oh, 31 people in the room. Perfect. Never mind. All right, you're all muted, so you can't even say anything.
Eyes closed. Take a breath. For love. into your heart. And exhale. And relax. Into your heart. Feel it. Notice it. Your heart. And breathe a little love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. Into your heart. And breathe in for love. Into your heart. And exhale. And relax. And let a little more love into your heart. And breathe for love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. And let love into your heart. And let the thoughts of someone you love bring up the feeling of love. In your heart. Feel it. Hold them in that feeling. In your heart. Hold them in your heart. Feel it. Now put their heart in your heart. And feel your love for them. In your heart. That's your love. Your You're giving them in their heart. Feel it. That's energy. In your heart. That's energy in their heart. That's your energy. In their heart. That's love. Your love. In their heart. That's love. In your heart. Feel it. Experience it. Enjoy it. That's the love you want them to feel. In their heart. Feel it. In your heart. Feel your connection to them. In your heart. One heart. That's love. In one heart. Feel it. And become one. In your heart. That's love. Your love. For their heart. That's your love. In your heart. Feel it. your heart. That's energy. In your heart. That's a little more oneness. In your heart. That's your connection. To love. In your heart. That's the feeling. You want people you love to feel in their heart. And remember, this feeling know it by heart. That's life. In your heart. Who do you want to be? When you open your eyes. In your heart. Feel it. With your heart. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And come back to the realm of space and time. Remember, there's love in your heart.
Love you all. Thank you again, David. You are a hero.
Love you guys.
You too, Robbie. Thank you.
You guys are all amazing. This is what makes it happen. This is so beautiful.
Thank you, David.
All right, guys.
Thank
Love
you,
you guys.
David.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Love you all. Good night.
Love as
Good
well.
night. Love you all.
Thank you.
Much love. Good
Love
night.
y'all.